It was a trial, but I got here.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you for pushing your way. Pressing your way.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Looking for it.
So, you have anything to say? Is God giving you anything?
Just pretty much, going back to what she was saying, using the illustration. What's your name again? I don't want to say Miss Gwen. That stated the problem, and as I was saying earlier, in order for us to cross over and to make it to the next level on anything, not even just the level, but just being able to be healed and delivered, we need to state the problem first.
Amen.
And when you state the problem, and like Miss Gwen said, and you give it to God, everything else will fall in place. He will organize it for you.
Yes.
And a lot of times we try to skip the ass and organize ourselves, and then we into a big mess. And then God like, I'm going to let you be in this mess. Because I know eventually one day you're going to ask me, but I'll let you be in that mess. And then eventually when the mess get all confused, then it's like, okay, where do we go to? Because my friend don't understand, my mama don't understand, my cousin don't understand, these people don't understand, so then we're going to ask God now. Yeah. Which is something that had been there, like the pattern of the word was been there the whole entire time. We just looked over it. Right. Because again, we feel like we got it ourselves because maybe as coming up, we had to offend ourselves. Right. So we don't want to take that step to ask because we got ourselves, because I mean, it did work out before. Yeah. But we sometimes, or not sometimes, there's always a season, as she stated before, there's a season. And so when you have done it before, God let you. That was the season for you, okay, whatever. Amen. But now, because you're transitioning into something different, that requires a new tool. Yeah. And so, a lot of times we have to, like she said, we need to recognize what season we are in. And that's like for me, taking this step. This is something new for me. I haven't been in an event like this. And before I will abort it. Because I'm like, one, I know the gift that God has given me. I know eventually going to give me a word I got to speak. I ain't ready. So I won't go. I always shield myself from different things. But in the process, God like, okay, well, you've been asking me to do certain things. So in the process, how can you get there if you don't let me train you?
My Lord.
And that's the same thing. We ask God, I want to be here. Well, then let me train you in the process before you get there so you can still thank me in the midst of what you're going through. So everything is a training process. And so that's something that he had to tell me. He was like, I'm training you. Like, this is a season where I have, I haven't gave my testimony, but I experienced so many different things. And so once I got just in this season, God has been showing me and mentioning to me like, okay, when I open up the door, do what you need to do. This is planning season. You gather what you need. Because once this season transitions, you don't have to worry about getting what you need because you already got it. You could just sit back and probably mentor everybody else in the process. See, sometimes people forget all of that. And it kind of, I want to piggyback off of what you were saying earlier. God was dealing with me at the beginning of this week when I was in the process of writing my book. And God was reminding me of some things that I'd done and some things I experienced that I forgot about it. Like, this been like years. I mean, like from when I was 8 years old. And one of them was, I would never forget, my mom was on drugs. And so she had a plate out with drugs on there. And so one day, I guess I was just curious about why you act the way you, because I'm a curious person. I always figured out with the mind. And so like my degree's in psychology. And so, like I'm so curious about the mind. Why do you do what you do? Why do you say what you say? Why do you even walk the way you walk? Like, I'm curious. And so she had a plate out. And so me and one of my cousins, we was in there tasting. And God brought that to my remembrance. He was like, that could have affected you. You didn't know what was in there. She didn't know what was in there. She got it from somebody else. And so I forgot all about that. But the point is, look, I was there. I saved you from some things. And so all I had to do, I just gave God the glory because it was like, now he took me down some memory lanes on some things that I really forgot. Like, I pushed it down. But then he also brought to me is that not only that those things were pushed down so I can continue to move forward, and he brought them back at the point in time, but we do that with certain situations where they need to be dealt with. And we suppress it. So by the time one little thing come cut it, it's like we bleed a lot. Have you ever had that small little cut and it just bleeds so bad? Yes, and it's like, what? That's the same thing as like we suppress it so much, but once it tapped into, now we blowing up. But it's like, but I needed to let it blow up so you can deal with it now, so you don't have to deal with it later. So that's my little thing.
Amen.
That is confirmation after confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. Oh my God. Amazing. everything you said.
Won't he do it?
Yesterday. We talked about this yesterday.
Wow.
And it's amazing that you confirmed. And you confirmed.
And we hadn't talked to anybody.
No, it was just us three last night.
Yeah.
And y'all have confirmed on top of stuff. Thank you for so much for allowing God to use you.
Thank you for allowing God to use you.
Yes, definitely. And pray for us.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna send you the address because I want.